Oh, live on YouTube. I'm getting all of my stuff set up. I'm running a minute or two right on schedule, we'll say. Right on schedule, we'll say. Go live on YouTube, live in my Facebook Goddess Tribe, live on my Healing Twin Flames TikTok channel. And it looks like I am not wearing anything on YouTube, but I promise I am. That's the joy of wearing bandos. And live on Instagram. Oh my goodness. Here we go. And I'm actually, wow, I'm feeling so much better, ironically enough, being in front of the camera. Isn't that weird? It's been a day, I have to admit. It's been a day. Day 4 of the Self-Love Empowerment Challenge. Oh my goodness, I feel so weird having that. Let me fix this camera here because I just, hold still there. Okay, because on my YouTube, it looks like I'm not wearing anything, and we can't be having that, okay? Maybe that was old Rochelle, but not anymore. No. Okay, as I was saying today, hello, living my keto life, dear Goddess Vanessa. Today is day 4 of the 5-day one hand, Rochelle, of the 5-day Self-Love Empowerment Challenge here at Empowerment Experiences. And wow, why don't, before we actually begin, everybody just close your eyes for a moment and let's just take a deep breath in and exhale. Wow. I don't know about y'all, but I've had some tower moments today. What's a tower moment? Well, it's when your shit comes up, your shadows, the aspects of you, the walls are crumbling down kind of thing, timber, you know, and there's a lot of that going on right now with the Lionsgate portal and right after the full moon energies. We're just having a heck of a time. So what that actually is, again, also is all of these aspects of yourself that have not been wanting to let go, that have been, again, holding on, or that aspect of you has been holding on out of fear. They're all coming up for you to look at and do the work around them and release them. And really see how they have not just not been serving you, but actually sabotaging you, blocking you from living the life you desire. And that's the thing. It's so synchronistic. I love that. I love when things are so synchronistic, and they are, you know, yesterday it was right along with forgiveness, and I had plenty of my own space to share in that for all of you. Today is that mindset piece and how powerful that mind is. And lo and behold, I've spent the majority of my afternoon purging and listening to some of the crap that's going on in my own mind, and being in that space of being able to look at these sabotaging patterns within myself that are really coming up to be severed, to be released, so that so that you can, that's again what this is all about, so that we finally be shifting into that timeline, into that space of aligning with living the life that we really, really, truly want. You know, I have to tell all of you, one of my major sabotages has been, and especially when you throw in the monkey wrench, some could say, of building a business. You know, you have to figure out all of that stuff on top of doing all the work on yourself too, while you're doing all of that. But one of my lifelong sabotages is that Rochelle doesn't get what she wants, that she doesn't do anything right. Who else has that one, that you just can't do anything right? You're always messing up. right? Being told I was a mistake when I was very, very, very young. I've done hypnosis regression. I actually heard it. Ouch. I actually heard it for the first time in my mother's womb that I was a mistake. So it was a lifetime. See, exactly, Goddess Leanne. I was actually told that by her when I was 15. I mean, outright 15 years old, after I'd already been suicidal and displayed such starting at age 12 was when I actually really began to display that. Right around there, right before then, right around age 12. And then I was told outright by my mother, the reason I'm so unhappy and had to marry your father. And I was just like, well, I took that on. All right. I took that belief. I took her story, because I want you guys to see this really quick. That was her story. That was her perspective. That was what she had come to view myself and what had happened in her life, because they had me 6 months before they got married. I know for a fact that I was the reason they got married, because back then, and we're talking 41 years ago, 41 years ago, that you kind of don't, yeah. And my dad was a business. No, I didn't start a business. No, this is not an MLM. This is my self-love empowerment coaching business. And I am the founder, CEO, and self-love empowerment coach here at Empowerment Experiences. And I have been changing a lot of lives for the past couple years. You better believe that. All right. And I love what I do. I really do love what I do. And what are you doing? The service industry. I am doing my live stream for day 4 of my 5-day self-love empowerment challenge. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Okay. But again, I ended up, taking on that story from my mother, and I actually amplified it. I kept feeding it that I was a mistake. I was unwanted. I was unlovable. I was not enough. And I ended up amplifying that story into believing that I was a cosmic joke, that I was actually the butt of the universe's jokes. That everything bad that happened to me, I deserved, that everything that went wrong was because that was what was intended, in the sense of, again, I deserved it. And I was, I was a mistake. I was a mistake, and therefore everything I did was a mistake. I couldn't do anything right. And that is one of the things that came out of me today. Here I've been having such a great go at things, and all of a sudden, boom, this afternoon, and it was just like, what? Excuse me. But see, we go through our lives, we take on the thank you for your advice. Okay. If only it were that simple. All right. Service industry. What kind of service? Do you wait tables? Just curious. Okay. Moving on. I love when people like to, yeah. I know millions speak exactly the way I do. And that's why I am here doing what I'm doing, to help people reprogram their minds so that we stop believing that bullshit, the belief systems that we were given about ourselves. All right. That we're not good enough, that we're unworthy, right? I wish. There, let me do it. Let me do that. Okay. That makes life easier. Okay. Okay. Focus. So and I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I want to share that name really quick. I want to throw that out there. Dr. Joe Dispenza. He brings the science aspect to how the mind really works, the power of meditation. That's why we started this challenge this week with meditation being first and foremost, because you have your ego mind and you have your soul space. And that mind, it was made to think. Think. I mean, and I always think of Pooh Bear. Think. Well, Most often, we strictly think about only the things that we know about. We seldom take in something new, especially when our core beliefs. And I learned this in a self a self improvement seminar years ago. By the time we're 5 years old, we have 90% of our core beliefs. So, what you believe about money, what you believe about relationships, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about society as a whole. You have those core beliefs in place by the time you're 5 years old, meaning you didn't stand a chance, sweetheart. And now we reach this space and place in our lives where we kind of wake up going, who am I? What do I love to do? What am I about? What is my purpose here? Because I promise everybody has a purpose, but only you can determine what that is. Okay. But you got to kind of clear away all the crap, all the clutter of all these other beliefs that were given you about who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what your life is supposed to look like, what you need to be when you grow up. I remember being forced to go out for sports. I hated it. I was unpopular in school. I was always being bullied. And the last thing I wanted to do was not only have to be at school all day with these kids, but then to have to stay after school and be with them longer. I wanted to go back home out in the country and just go sit at the low water crossing that was at the dead end road that I grew up on when we moved into the house when I was about 13, right around the age of actually 14. I just turned 14 when we moved into it was a log home my parents built when I was 14. And I felt crowded in the house, as well. So I was always out sitting in the country at the creek. I just had to get away all the time. I couldn't stand all the chaos in my environment. And it just was a challenge. Constantly being told I was ugly. I was stupid. It was rough times. But I digress. We end up taking on all of those things that everybody else says. And we end up adopting them as our beliefs. Things that other people have said about ourselves. Things that other people have said about ourselves. That we end up taking on and believing that it's truth, even though nobody else on this planet knows even but a fraction of who you are. Yet, we have allowed everybody else to tell us who we are. Right? Right? And so we spend our lives so focused on what everybody else thinks of us. Because why? We're operating from a place of what everybody else has told us to think, be, and act like. When in reality, the only person who has the whole story, the whole picture, the whole beautiful mosaic masterpiece, it might be a Monet, and that's okay, of that which is you, is you. You are the only one in your life who could ever truly know who you are. Yet, we have been socially conditioned to let everybody else dictate who we are. So can you imagine? I mean, you don't have to imagine how that feels inside, right? For most of us, we've lived the majority of our lives feeling that ripping inside of you. Feeling torn, feeling not right. Because why? you're not listening to you. You're listening to them, and them have become this inside you. Well, now you get to reclaim your power. And it's a pretty fucking awesome thing to do. Just saying. Just saying. And that's exactly what today's theme is about for this 5-day challenge. It's about how powerful that mind is. It's about being able to recognize that if it can be programmed to be so negative, to be from a perspective that is your own worst enemy, well, guess what? You can choose to view it, to shift your perspective and go, then wait a minute. If I can be so convinced that I am a horrible person and not good enough, then what if I figured out how to reprogram it so that I'm my own best friend? So that I listen to me about me instead of everybody else. What if I lived my truth instead of the false identity that has been given me by everybody else? Goddess Leanne says, why is it so challenging to reprogram? Because the programs that have been running for so long in our lives have been doing so on autopilot. And only when you become aware of them, when you awaken to how much you've been controlled by these programs, it comes to a point where you go, wait a minute. I don't like this. I want something different. But you not only have now the work, the task of deprogramming, doing that shadow work, shining the light, as I say, on those shadows to reveal them to yourself, these things that have been running in the background in the shadows. That's why it's shadow work, right? But also the reprogramming side. And one of the things that I've come to find about being challenging in the reprogramming is you have got to stay on top of it. Every single day. You have got to be plugging in good shit. Seriously. You have got to be doing affirmations. You've got to be doing tapping. You've got to be, paying attention, being very aware of the words that are coming out of your mouth, of what you're affirming about your life and yourself. It is a full-time job to be taking your power back. Because I'm here to tell all of you that when you stop doing all of these practices that are creating these incredible shifts inside you, guess what happens? That rubber band effect. And you go back. And when I say back, I want to clarify something here. You cannot go back in time. You simply kind of slip back into that old timeline. You slip back into that version of yourself that operates from that subconscious place. Because again, we are habitual creatures. We operate, our habits come from a subconscious place. We just do it. Really start to be aware of your day. Start to really be conscious, and you'll start to go, wait a minute. I didn't even realize I was just doing that. I mean, I one of my favorite patterns, sabotaging patterns I like to share about is sweet tooth. And my cake, my former, mind you, cake addiction, because I really, really love sweets, right? And I used to, and I had to really begin to recognize this. I used to go to my grocery store here, and especially if they marked down a cake. My mind would say, but it's 50% off. And we can figure something to celebrate. However, mind you, what happens after you eat an entire cake by yourself in like 48 hours? How do you end up feeling? Not very good. At least not me. Physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, not very good. But I would still see the pattern of justification of getting that cake, but it's especially 50% off. Well, even this morning was grocery day with my roommate, and sure enough, there were some cakes that were marked 50% off because you come in and they do this shit on purpose. I'm telling you. You come into the store and it's all the produce. All the produce. You have your floral and produce, and then you go around the store, around the back this way, and there's the bakery. All the bakery and the donuts and the cakes and and the cookies. And jeez, I like baked goods. I'm not going to deny that. Gratefully, I don't really look like I do. Thank God. I mean, in the sense of having that amount of, because I did years ago. That was all I did was drink cow's milk and eat just baked goods all the time. And I got up, I was 60 pounds heavier than what I am now. I did not feel good about myself at all. That was when I really ended up falling into that abyss and developed severe anxiety, severe depression. I couldn't even leave my house. I was highly suicidal. That was when I really truly did crack. I did way back when. God, that was like 8 years now. Wow. It's like, wow, that was so long ago. But yeah, so today there it was. I caught out of the corner of my eye. There it was, 50% off the cake. And I went and I looked and I was just like, I pointed with my roommate because she had her cart and I had my cart because we always get gallons. We drink spring water. We buy gallons of spring water. And I was like, look, that looks really good. It's a cookie cake. And she just stands there, because I usually make the decision when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I looked at her and I looked at the cake and I did my process, my new habit, which is becoming easier and easier because that's when the more you practice something, the easier it gets. I promise you that. But the key is to practice it, to not just acquiesce your power each time you're presented with that challenge, to practice it. And y'all better believe every time I go to the store, I got that challenge. And remember, a challenge is an opportunity for growth. So all of a sudden, knowing full well how I'm going to feel on the other side of this, it was so much easier. It didn't take me but a fraction of the time, like maybe 60 or 90 seconds this time. Whereas before, listen, I would stand there for like 10 minutes going, but that would sure taste good. I really would like that cake. That would be really, really good. This time I was like, nope, Larabars. And just so all of you out there who have a challenge with the sweet tooth, take it from me. Okay? If you have a challenge with a sweet tooth, one of my favorite new healthy treats, because it's healthy sugars and a little bit goes so far, are Larabars. Larabars. All right? So, and because they're made with dates, they're made with like, you know the ingredients they're made with. It's like dates and peanuts. And that's it. And it makes a peanut butter cookie. Or there's one that's dates and cashews. It's the cashew cookie, right? Dates and cashews. That's it. Those are the only two ingredients in that bar. So if you are one of those people who has that challenge, and then what I do is like, I have my favorite coffee shop that's up the street, and they make all of their baked goods homemade in-house. That is when I allow myself to splurge. That is when they have these little mini loaves. I will allow myself that kind of an indulgence. And on rare occasion, they have a Boston cream whoopie pie. Oh my God. Thankfully, it's not very often, but they do have those. So I really truly save, thus then savor my indulgence on my sweets. And I take the healthy route with the Lara bars any other time. And so this morning it was all of a sudden I looked at her, I said, nope, Lara bars. And I forward facing and we marched. We just marched, right? And went to get our Lara bars. So Goddess Leanne asked, does it ever become habitual to believe in yourself? Yes, it does. Like I said, the more you practice, the easier it gets. I am never going to be that coach that tells you, oh, it's so easy. You just do this. I will tell you that it's simple. And just like this person here was being like, you're overthinking. I'm like, duh. That's what we've been socially conditioned to do, is to think, rather than pause, be present, really truly ask ourselves, be conscious about the choices that we're making, meaning to be very present, to be asking the questions such as, you know, how am I going to feel on the other side of this experience? Like with the cake thing. How am I going to feel? Because that's where it all started, when I really started to ask those questions. No, Goddess Leanne, I love questions. I love it, right? And Goddess Vanessa says, I soaked my feelings with Oreos today. I get it. I get it. Again, you know, especially as a sensitive empaths, if you're a highly sensitive empath, that was the other reason when I ended up gaining all that weight, because a lot of empaths will do that. We do that to create some type of barrier between ourselves and the outside world, because we've not been actually taught how to, you know, cleanse our energetic being. Not been taught how to, you know, shield ourselves. We've not been taught how to be like, oh, that's not my shit. And come back into this center. And I know right now, like for me, going to the grocery store with all of the fear mongering and people just so rooted in fear, that it is very energetically draining to be out in society right now. It just is. It just is. Right. And Mishka, is it Mishka? Is that how I say it? How can you forget your twin because I'm frustrated? Well, sweetheart, hey, thank you for the mirror, because, you know, I have those moments too. And you don't forget him. Remember, if you found me on TikTok originally, one of the biggest things that I'm constantly reminding everybody is that your twin flame journey is in reality a self-love empowerment journey. Okay. So this is really, really, really about you going inside you and doing that work on yourself and learning to really, truly love yourself, asking yourself, why am I frustrated? What am I frustrated about? All right. And then going through those layers and doing that work to then, exactly like what today's challenge is about, is to look at these negative beliefs. Oopsie, wrong way. To look at these negative beliefs that are, to look at these negative beliefs, these stories that we're telling ourselves that are creating this frustration, because they don't create the frustration in us. We do. We are the ones who create our emotions by the meaning we choose to give to something. All right. I'm the same. Alicia, just different names. Gotcha. Okay, got it. I started crying out of nowhere today and I was feeling so angry. All of that. See, that's what I was saying at the start of this. Major tower moments coming up. You know, these shadow aspects of ourselves that are coming up to be like, you need to see this. Because it is time that you look at this, you shine the light on this shadow, you see the story, you see it for what it is, and you recognize that if that shit don't feel good, it is out of alignment with who you truly are. If it is not an embodiment of love, then it is out of alignment with who you truly are. And especially twin flames. That's what we're here for. We are here to be anchoring in the new earth with unconditional universal love. And believe me, sister, I know this space. That was part of mine today too. I mean, my twin has come back seemingly out of the blue, as they do, last Friday. And all he over and over, he was saying that He says, I don't know why, but I had to call you. I had to call you. I had to talk to you. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. He says, I don't know what's going on. I feel bad all the time. My mind is such a mess. My mind is such a mess. And it's just like, well, do you want my support and guidance or not? You know, because especially in twin flame connections, it's intense. It's just it's intense, especially for the matrix twin. It's really, really intense. And I have to remind myself that if it's intense for me, it's probably 100 times so for him. All right. But again, it comes down to looking within. Looking within. Why are you feeling this way? Because it's going to come from something that you are telling yourself about your reality that you are experiencing right now, or coming from your past, most likely, that you are reliving in this moment. It's a story that you have created, that you are telling, that is creating this pain inside yourself. We create our own pain and suffering, especially when there literally there's no one holding you down. I mean, I've been there. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been assaulted. I know what that's like to really, really be in that space of, quote, suffering. Okay, being traumatized. I know that space. But I assure you, if you are all watching, then you're not in that space, right? So the one who's creating the suffering is you. I know, tough pill to swallow, isn't it? But it's true. You are the one creating that suffering. All right. So again, in the email, let's see here. I watched a video today, and the person said the runner feels a lot more pain, so it's going to be hard to let them go. Well, and that's just it. It's also learning to realize that in that twin flame relationship, that you are running from something inside yourself too, as the chaser, because we are mirrors with our twin. And holy moly mackerel, I look at mine, and when I hear him say certain things, I sit there and I take a pause and I look at myself and I go, oh shit, I see where I'm doing that in my life. And I can see even to a certain point where I could say that my own mind is a mess to a certain degree, in the sense of the old sabotages that are rising right now, for me to be like, okay, enough with this shit. Enough. Because that is holding me down. I am holding me down by giving my attention to what I do not want, to what I've already created and what I tend to create more of. And we all do that based on the story we're telling. That's how that works. And I'm telling y'all, like I said, you have got to be intentional. You have got to be the one that is taking your power back, that is saying enough is enough. I am going to choose, and I am choosing, right? Depending on which camera I'm at. Remember, I have 5 devices here, 4 different platforms. I choose, because either subconsciously or consciously, you are choosing every single moment of every single day what you are doing, what you're thinking about, what you're giving your attention to, how you feel about it. And if you don't feel good about something and you can't quite change that, then you need to think about or focus on something else that feels better. You need to this. So it's time to stop letting this control you, and you, your true self, begin to control this. Because guess what? Newsflash, everybody, you're no longer a victim. I'm going to tell you that right now. My favorite quote that came to me more than 2 years ago when I did my first seminar, it was a 10-week program. I did a live 10-week, nearly 70 hours seminar. And during this seminar, up at the front of the room. This just came out. It is not a choice to become a victim. Most of us were born into this world with that victim mentality because, like, again, we're all, I was told I was a mistake. So right off the bat, I'm coming into the world with this perception that I'm a mistake. So it is not a choice to become a victim. However, once you discover that you are one and you look, and especially a victim to the mind. If that mind is telling you, because it's not called victim mentality for nothing. And right now there's a lot of that going around. But if you're a starseed, you're a light worker, you're here to help heal that for the collective. Because there are going to be a lot of souls that do not want to wake up. That do not want to consciously do this work. There's going to be a lot of them. But that's their choice. That's their path, their journey, their soul education. If you're on my channel and you're still tuned in and watching this, then you have come to heal yourself, which in turn heals the collective. And that's why we're here. All right. Believe me, I know that it gets tough at times, especially when you are so sensitive and there's so much pain in this world. And so many people don't want to really see what's really going on in the world. And that's okay. Just because people don't want to believe something is happening doesn't mean it's not happening. And that is the reality of things. And I put reality in quotations because reality is totally subjective, just saying. Okay. I didn't link that. I included in the email, and this is why I encourage you all to be sure to check the emails, of course, but you got to scroll down at the bottom and there's the link to the microscopic video of new neural pathways being created. So who has heard before that your body, your cells regenerate and you're pretty much a brand new person every 7 years? You heard that? It's true. And that you are constantly creating new neural pathways in your brain. The key is what information is traveling those neural pathways. Are you merely replicating the same old shit, the same old stories, the same old I'm terrible, I'm horrible, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'll never be good enough, in mind, of course, I don't do anything right because I'm a mistake. Oh, I'm so tired of that story. Which is grateful because now it's just like, it is nowhere near the kind of power that it used to have. And so I want you all to understand that, yeah, it comes in layers. This healing comes in layers. But it does get easier. Bit by bit by bit by bit. You stick to it. You keep doing the work. You keep on that healing journey. And I promise you, you are healing these wounds inside of you. I assure you. I assure you, you are. All right. So check it out because this video, when it was shown me a couple years ago, wow, blew my mind. Great new. So this is why it's so important to be consciously, purposely, and intentionally plugging in what I like to call mind food. That you are literally, I love to listen to Abraham Hicks. I listen to Wayne Dyer, Joe Dispenza. There are just so many enlightenment opportunities out there, shall we say? Mind food. There's so much mind food out there that is created to empower you, for you to awaken, to remember who and what you truly are and how much power you truly possess. That this whole facade, this whole persona that we have been programmed to believe about ourselves, that we don't have any power, that I can't control my emotions. I can't control my thoughts. Those are socially conditioned beliefs. So that way others, which is what's happening right now, so that others actually have power over you. You see what's here? I mean, when all of this started happening several months ago, and y'all know what I'm talking about when I say this, I was like, whoa, it really gave such a deeper meaning to what I know my purpose is in this world. Totally. All right. So check out that new neural pathways video. This is why doing affirmations is so vital. This is why, again, doing things like EFT tapping, the emotional freedom technique. Who's ever done that before? And I'm creating a video course on that as well. There's been quite a bit going on in addition to my own stuff coming up as well. Right? Woo, doggy. So let me see. I'm going to go through this. I included a quote again, because I love quotes. I love, again, like I said, Abraham Hicks is one of my favorite, mind food things to listen to, right? One of my favorite quotes is, you don't get in the way of each other's realities. You only get in the way of your own reality. Because how often are you about to do something that you're excited about and that you really want to do, but oh my God, I don't want to mess up, or you're going to walk on stage. Like I was a pageant in high school. And of course, anybody who's ever in a pageant, what is one of the big fears? That you're going to trip on stage, right? You're going to be doing your walk and you're going to trip and Well, I still did it. I didn't trip, but I still did the pageant. However, how many times do you end up going, oh my God, I can't do it. Never mind. You stand in your own way of creating or experiencing what you want so bad. Or you stand in your own way of wanting or of creating what you want because you have convinced yourself that you don't deserve it. You're not worthy of it. Things don't work out that way for you. That's not your kind of luck. Or when you're on the flip side of things and things go wrong, how many of us had adopted that bullshit belief of course that's my luck. When something goes wrong, the car breaks down, you spill something on your brand new outfit on your way to your job interview, and it's just chaos, right? All of those are a result of a point of attraction. Just there. Okay. You have subconscious beliefs that nothing works out for you, everything goes wrong, especially when it's that big day, it's super important. Guess what happens? You usually experience those exact things. So you end up being the one standing in your own way of what you want. So this is why it is so vital to get control over your own mind. To every day do this work. And we talked on Tuesday about the very first thing when you wake up, very first thing when you start to come to, and I sent this to my twin flame the other morning. I said, here, I'm gonna give you some information anyway, because I know he wants it, but he's so scared of our connection that he knows we have an energetic connection, but yet he's very scared of it. It's intriguing to watch, but at the same time, I'm here shining a light. So I said, here, the very first thing you do when you open your eyes, when you start to come to, is you have this brief time where you get to choose. And I've been waking up with having weird dreams. And I know that I'm just being presented with more challenges, more opportunities for growth. But immediately, I challenge you to say, okay, I am grateful for running water in the house. I am grateful for this cozy, comfortable bed that I got to sleep in. I am so grateful for air conditioning because I live in the desert. I am so grateful for my 2 kitty kids that sometimes get on my nerves. No, I am so grateful for, the food in my fridge. Oh, I'm so grateful for an amazing fridge that I love because it's mine. My first ever appliance that was all mine, brand new. And that's exciting stuff especially for a woman. I tell you what, I've had it for a lot of years now, but yeah, first thing in the morning, express gratitude, right? Start to rewire your brain to be focused on your blessings rather than your burdens, rather than your struggles. All right. Even be saying, I am so grateful that I am learning. I am so grateful that I am integrating lessons. I am so grateful that I am more and more aware of the things that are sabotaging me in my journey. Anything and everything. Hello, Goddess Tracy. Anything and everything on your that you can express gratitude for. Let that be the very first thing you give your attention and energy to in the morning, because you are rewiring your brain when you do that. You are retraining your brain. You are reprogramming your mind to focus on the good things in your life. And you do that for enough days, and not a lot of them. And you are going to begin to find it easier and easier and easier for you to be grateful, for you to find gratitude, even for the challenges, Goddess Leanne. Exactly. So grateful for the challenges. Because if we didn't have these challenges, and again, in my world, in my realm, my clients and my audience, we define a challenge as an opportunity for growth. That's an empowering word. Being presented with a challenge means I'm being presented with an opportunity for growth. And that means that I'm going to be, for certain, shifting and changing and becoming stronger and wiser. And that I'm going to really get a handle, get a grip. We like to say, right? Get a grip on all of this sabotaging behavior that I'm perpetuating in myself. All of this pain and suffering that I am continuing to create for myself, that I am actually taking my power back from that. And that with each passing day, each passing moment, that I am shifting out of that and into a happier version of myself. Awesome, Alicia. She had said, let's see, does he think about me like I do every day? Guess what, sweetheart? Yeah. In Twin Flames, again, yeah. I mean, like I said, he reached out to me. You know, yet my mind was having the hump moments. And this is what the Twin Flame journey looks like, is we sit there and we tell ourselves that they're not thinking about us at all, when I assure you, yes, they are. They may be trying to cope and escape, because that's what we do when we are doing coping mechanisms. And most often we do unhealthy coping mechanisms with alcohol, drugs, food, sugar, sweets. This is why, again, those Laura bars are going to help with that. I'm telling you. Okay. But we end up just coping. However, when you actually go within and you do this work and you look at what this is that's coming up for you, why you're feeling this way, what is the lesson that's being presented me right now? What is this challenge? Then guess what? When you become aware of what that lesson is, of what the pattern is, of what this subconscious belief is that is manipulating your emotions, your feeling, your point of attraction, simply by becoming aware, you have taken back a large chunk of your power from that sabotaging pattern. Just by becoming aware of it. Because now it's no longer running in the background. You're going to spot it. You're going to go, I saw that. And you get to choose to either go, oh, I'm still doing it, or yes, I see you, sucker. I usually do this. I usually have glasses on, but with all the glare, I'm not wearing glasses. Plus, I'm a hat day. But seriously, for real. All right. Just to become aware of these sabotages, you are taking your power back, a chunk of it in that moment through awareness. Okay. All right. And today we do, I had listed mindset mirror work where you are literally beginning to talk to yourself. You are beginning to stop talking bad to and about yourself. I mean, how many of y'all have gone in front of the mirror? You're having a shitty day. You go in front of the mirror and you start telling yourself off. Of course, you would make that kind of mistake, Rochelle. Been there, done that? Mm-hmm. What were you thinking? You should know better than that. Okay, so I got some hands on that one. So how many have gone to the mirror and said, man, you are fucking awesome, Rochelle. That was a great job. I am so proud of you for doing that. That is amazing. I've done that, but not near as often. And in fact, only recently. And when I say recently, remember, I got 41 years, okay? So in the past couple years have I done that. But you better believe the beating myself up, the condemning and judging and criticizing and scolding myself, well, that was easy peasy. And it was a lot of the time. So as I started this live stream with talking about how we either get to choose being our own best friend or our own worst enemy, but in the end, you are the one constant in your life the entire time you're on this planet. I sounded like Christy when I just said all that. Channeling Christy Carter incoming. And that's a whole nother story. I'll have to, which her video should actually still be on my YouTube channel. So you guys can go to my YouTube channel and check it out. I will go on in a little bit and check and make sure. She's what I call a legacy goddess in my goddess tribe. So I will put a little clip of her story in the description so you guys can read about that. Because I'm reaching my limit on my time for my Instagram for sure. I would like to keep it in that hour space, definitely. But in the email, this was a little bit more extensive today for the activities for today. You want to take some time and journal out the negative beliefs you're holding about yourself, others, and the world around you, and then create new positive beliefs that shift you from those negative ones from that list. All right. And we'll go over the best way in the challenge in the live. Short version is the negative shows you what you do not want. So the easiest way is what is the opposite of that negative list? What's the opposite of the negative? That becomes more your positive belief. So I am ugly. I am not enough. Well, you switch over and you want to believe that I am enough, that I am learning. And that's one of my big keys here is to make it present tense. If you say I am enough and it goes completely against how you feel, you're going to hit resistance. But if you say I am learning to see that I am enough, I am learning to believe that I am enough, then that is still aligning you with that new belief. Okay? And write those affirmations out. And this is the mirror work. Then to put, I have sticky notes on my bathroom mirror here, my vanity mirror here. All right. And recite them. Look at yourself. Say these affirmations to yourself in the mirror. Okay. Be sure to do your best to embody them, to feel them. All right. Let me rephrase that. To allow yourself to feel them, because that is huge. That is major that I've discovered that's been in myself and in pretty much all of my clients is that we don't allow ourselves to feel good. We don't allow ourselves to feel that positive thing because, oh my God, something bad's going to go wrong right after that. Because that's what's familiar. And I could go on and on and on and on, all that. But speak and embody the new beliefs as often as possible. Stand or sit up straight and breathe deeply. You are reprogramming your mind and becoming a different version of you with a more positive belief system. You have got to be the one to be programming this. You do. It's not going to happen on its own. The only way that your current beliefs became what they were is that you practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced those beliefs. Well, now you've got to practice and practice and practice and practice your new ones. Okay? All right. And then third, I included a link to my favorite meditation guru. She also creates what I call affirmation stations. And I included one of my favorite ones linked in the email for you all today. Remember, because I have a couple minutes on my Instagram here. Remember the giveaway. Be sure to be doing those giveaway entries, tagging me, even letting me know. Like if you're on Facebook, make sure that we're friends so you can tag me. And do your best to be tagging Empowerment Experiences if you're on Instagram. I know there's a comment request that you put on the YouTube videos as well. Those notifications I get very easily. Those are very easy for me to get that way. But yeah, just to be sure that I'm getting all of them, you can share your posts to me. So that way you are for sure going to be counted. And then in the Goddess Tribe, I check every post that's post submitted. I do that so that I can check every post. That's why I have my Facebook group set up on post submit. That's really the reason why I do, so that I know what posts are being posted and I can keep track. Otherwise, things just kind of appear and I'd be like, what? Where'd that come from? I never, what? And I got a little bit of FOMO too, fear of missing out. Okay. I think we all got a little bit of that. Okay. All right, everybody. That said, remember, you are the catalyst in your life. If you want something different, if you are not happy with your current circumstances, you are not happy with how you feel about yourself, about your life, about your career, about your relationship, about anything in your life, the only way that's going to change for the better, let me phrase it that way, for the better, is you take your freaking power back and you change it. You do what needs to be done to change this in here. And I promise you, this out here changes. I have seen it so many times in myself, in my clients, and it gets me so excited to see it again in myself, in my clients. It's just absolutely amazing to be a witness to those things, to really be watching you taking back your power, because that's what I do. It's exactly what I do. I am Rochelle Richard, founder, CEO, and self-love empowerment coach here at Empowerment Experiences. And I guide you into and through finding your power in every moment. As someone who once believed she was absolutely powerless, a victim to life, her circumstances. Yeah. I am walking evidence that yes, you can shift out of powerless into more and more powerful. But you've got to be the one to do that. You have to be the one to choose wherever this is on my on all of my cameras here. All right. With that said, I am signing off. I will see you all back here tomorrow evening for day 5, the final day of this ultimate 5-day self-love empowerment challenge. To catch the replays, they are up on my YouTube channel, which I would love for you all to go check that out for sure. I am working on getting more videos uploaded. I've had a lot going on. I'm going to be doing some more card reading videos. Same with on my TikTok channels. I've been a little bit absent on getting videos out on both of those. So just getting all of those things sorted out for all of you. So that said, go subscribe on my YouTube channel. catch the replays, go for it. You can also see the replay on my IGTV and in my Goddess Tribe on Facebook. All right. So that said, everybody, go create amazing. I know for certain that the power is and always has been in your hands because it's always been inside you. Okay. So that said, I will see you all back here tomorrow night on any of these platforms at 7:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the final day of the Empowerment Experiences 5-Day Self-Love Empowerment Challenge. Namaste.